I need to bring to the notice of this government is, now I'll leave. You are talking about the GST compensation. Now, if you give us, the Honorable Finance Minister is there, and GST compensation that you owe us is, please understand the figure, so it's 26597 crores. So 26,597 crores is what the government owes to us. So now, if you give us that money, we'll be happy to give the free vaccine. So if you give us this money, all our social sector programs are stuck because this compensation hasn't come. But I do like to give one thing to your notice, which is the difference between the finance minister, not you, the finance minister of cabinet, vis-a-vis our finance minister of Maharashtra. There's one huge contrast in this, that this finance minister of India has taken 12 crores from every MP without even asking us. It was mulled. They just took it away from us. And today, everybody who asks us कि भैया हमें MP लैड चाहिए, वो तो मोदी जी ले गए MP लैड्स कहाँ से दे, 2.5 साल के लिए तो कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे हम. And exactly opposite in the state, no MLA from all the 4 parties. This is the difference between Finance Minister of India and Finance Minister of Maharashtra. Finance Minister of Maharashtra has made sure every MLA, including from the opposition, gets 5 crores every year. No cut. 2 भी दिया, उसके ऊपर से 3 crore भी दिया. So they are giving 5. So obviously they are doing something right, considering GST is not coming, but they are managing something well. So I think maybe you all should pick a leaf from the Finance Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Ajit Pawar. I think he can guide you all run the ministry a little better. I mean, it's always good to take good ideas from people.
देशाचे 2021चे बजेट यावर लोकसभेत चर्चा करताना बारामतीच्या खासदार सुप्रिया सुळे यांनी लोकसभेत सांगितले की महाराष्ट्र सरकारचे 26,000 कोटी रुपये जे GSTचे पैसे आहेत ते केंद्र सरकारकडे पडून आहेत आणि केंद्र सरकार ते लवकरात लवकर महाराष्ट्राला देत नाही आहे. जर ते पैसे लवकरात लवकर महाराष्ट्राला भेटले तर महाराष्ट्र सरकार आनंदाने कोरोना लस फ्री देईल महाराष्ट्राच्या नागरिकांना. तसेच महाराष्ट्राचे बरेचसे विकास कामं त्या 26,000 कोटींमुळे अडकून पडलेले आहेत. जर ते पैसे भेटले तर महाराष्ट्र सरकार आनंदाने पुन्हा ते विकास कामं सुरू करू शकेल. तसेच सुप्रिया सुळे यांनी लोकसभेत महाराष्ट्राचे अर्थमंत्री अजित पवार व देशाच्या अर्थमंत्री निर्मला सीतारामन यांच्यातील एक फरकही सांगितला. देशाच्या अर्थमंत्री यांनी 2.5 वर्षासाठी प्रत्येक खासदाराचा खासदार निधी काढून घेतलेला आहे, कारण कोरोनामुळे अर्थव्यवस्था खालावली होती. तर अर्थव्यवस्थेला पाठबळ देण्यासाठी प्रत्येक खासदाराचा खासदार निधी हा देशाच्या आर्थिक निधीसाठी वापरला जाणार आहे. पण महाराष्ट्राचे जे अर्थमंत्री आहेत अजित पवार यांनी एकही आमदाराचा, मग तो विरोधी पक्षाचा असो किंवा सत्ताधारी पक्षाचा असो, एकही आमदार निधी काढलेला नाही. प्रत्येक आमदाराला त्यांनी 5-5 कोटी रुपये दिले आहेत वार्षिक आपल्या मतदारसंघात खर्च करण्यासाठी. 2 कोटी रुपये ऑलरेडी सँक्शन होते. त्यात अजित पवार यांनी 3 कोटीची भर टाकली आणि प्रत्येक आमदाराला 5 कोटी रुपये त्यांनी वार्षिक खर्चाला दिलेले आहेत. हा महत्त्वाचा फरक सुप्रिया सुळे यांनी सांगितलेला आहे. महाराष्ट्राचे अर्थमंत्री अजित पवार तसेच देशाच्या अर्थमंत्री निर्मला सीतारामन यांच्यातील. तर पुढील व्हिडिओ तर आपल्याला विनंती, हा व्हिडिओ अजून बघत राहा. सुप्रिया सुळे अजून बोलत आहेत. इथून पुढे सुप्रिया सुळे आता देशाचे पंतप्रधान नरेंद्र मोदी यांनी लोकसभेत जे भाषण केले त्यात त्यांनी शरद पवारांबद्दल जे बोलले आहेत त्यावर प्रत्युत्तर सुप्रिया सुळे देत आहेत. सुप्रिया सुळे यांनी अतिशय चांगल्या प्रकारे याबद्दल प्रत्युत्तर दिले.
Talked about the fiscal deficit, the way the economy has contracted. I remember since the last 4 or 5 years continuously, every speech that he makes, which we all eagerly listen to, he's been talking about this government selling the family silver, and consistently, even before the COVID crisis happened, this new word of the V-shaped economy is something new that we have heard in this government. And plus the economy which has contracted is actually been a huge blow even before. So COVID really added to all the bad policies which were taken by this government. So it's very unfortunate that we are through this challenge. The whole world is going through this challenge. But India is, of course, economically suffering now because of several of these decisions taken by this government. I always try and speak on the subject. But today, with your permission, sir, I'm going to speak a little bit out of the subject because the Honorable Prime Minister talked about our party's leader today. I could have easily got up and heckled him, but from the culture that I come from and the party rules and regulations, we are not allowed to heckle, and NCP never heckles. It's not that heckling is wrong. I'm not getting into the morality of it. But I would like to put some documents and facts on the paper. Here, the Honorable Prime Minister, with high regard, because even if he is a member of the BJP, he is India's Prime Minister today, and when he says something on the floor of the House, we must all take it very seriously. He talked about a letter and reflected to a letter of Mr. Pawar. He's written to various state chief ministers at that time when he was the agriculture minister. I won't repeat the words which the Honorable Prime Minister has written, but I would let the 4 lines which the Honorable Prime Minister did not read is what I'm going to read. After the Honorable Prime Minister's, where he stopped, it says, I may mention that the Ministry of Agriculture has circulated a draft Model APMC Rules 2007 to all the states for their guidance and adoption as appropriate. Their guidance. So that must be noticed. And I wish to draw your personal attention to this matter to considerable importance of the agriculture sector and well-being of the farmers, and request that suitable direction may be given for the necessary steps without further delays. This is what the original entire letter says. But I would, with full humility, like to bring something to notice, because he used the word U-turn. So I would like to just highlight and just take 2 minutes of the U-turns of this government. So GST was brought in by Honorable Manmohan Singh ji. If please, I stand corrected that time the Gujarat Chief Minister had objected to the GST. We brought in the RTI, we brought in the food security, we as in the UPA government, the right to education, Narega, the new corporate law, the company bill, the DTC, the Aadhaar, the land acquisition. All these new bills, I do understand, change is inevitable. We all are for change. We are all. And I come from a state which is for reforms. So we are never against reforms. It's the way they are administered and done is what our objection is to. And while I read out this GST, RTI, food security, RT, Narega, all these when we got, all these were moved by the Honorable Prime Minister then, Sri Manmohan Singh ji, who was absolutely a team player. It went through the standing committee, every stakeholder was invited, feedback was taken, and only then all these laws were made. I would like to talk about a U-turn for this government. Narega, it's on record, and if they would like to place it, I would be happy to get you documents, where the present Honorable Prime Minister has not spoken as well as about he speaks on Narega today. During the COVID time, everybody who lost their jobs in the city went back to their villages, and the only savior there was Narega, and that's how thousands and thousands of families have survived. But this was a U-turn of this government. GST is a U-turn. Aadhaar, I actually do miss him here, is Shri late Anand Kumar ji. He was a friend to all of us, and unfortunately he's no more, but I still remember how strongly that time the BJP had objected. And Yashwant Sinha ji, please, I stand corrected if anybody disagrees with some of my facts, that Aadhaar was rejected by them. And today they are steering Aadhaar, they are praising GST as their program, and they are praising Narega. Now, are these U-turns or left turn, right turn, which turn? I really don't know. So, and the Honorable Prime Minister said intent versus content. Everybody has a good intent. So when they do it, it's intent and content. And when we do it, it's a U-turn. It's a little unfair, especially coming from such a high office. So I would just like to put these things on record, that these things happen, and they are always demeaning institutions. Why do they always need the ordinance route? If they really wanted to bring these laws, why could they not take this? Now, logically speaking, sir, even if they were moved at that time, they were moved as recommendations for a change of the law. Why were the same route not followed? And if this was written to all the chief ministers, how come there was no agitation in 2004, 5, 6, and for all that decade that Mr. Pawar was the agriculture minister? I'm not here to defend. He's very capable of defending himself. But I just need to put the facts on the table since he was mentioned by the Honorable Prime Minister. That's all I wanted to say. And why are you running away from committees? These committees are very good institutions. Good feedback is taken. And I appreciate the Honorable Prime Minister's emotions. Yesterday and today, I'm actually seeing a different man. Leadership is about vulnerability. And he showed he was vulnerable yesterday and today. I wish there was continuity in this, and he showed the same vulnerability. He should open his arms, call the farmers and Mr. Tikait to his house for tea, and why not resolve it? If you can't resolve it that way, call the political leaders. If he feels there are politicians involved, why not call them? If there's a will, there's a way. So if he really wants to work around the farmers, let's stop this conflict, because this entire country and the global situation. It's not helping any of us with any aberration like this, especially the farmer, I think, who feeds us. So I think I want to put this on the table.